Saturday night backstage.
That's right.
We decided we'd sit here talking. Well, let's get on and
Let's
we
hang
want to
out
make
for a
this
little
better.
bit.
We're going to try and do this every week.
Yeah, we can talk about it.
We'll
And
make it
such.
a real short show, and then afterwards, we get back on and shoot the breeze and be a little bit more serious than we are at the Bitcoin Saturday night.
Yeah.
Hey, Thomas, I just want to thank you for doing this. You've kind of taken the Bitcoin Saturday Night Live to another level, and you're the man. I mean, you're really good at production, and I'm a real noob at this.
Well, thanks, Ugly. I'm glad to be involved. I thought it was a fun idea, but I really like Saturday Night Live, the show, and I wanted to help take it to another level. We tried to do 2 live sketches this week and a live monologue and a live interview with Juan. You guys can see for yourself how it went. Do you guys want to watch the video back? Do you want me to bring that up?
Yeah, and let's get that link and we can share it about this backstage because
I can go. Let me go tweet it up, and we'll do.
Go ahead and start the
link to this, and I'll go tweet it to my people.
Cool. Yeah, I don't know where the link is. I'm looking at World Crypto Network, and the live thing isn't showing up.
Bitcoin evangelist Trace Mayer handed out a piece of paper linking to a website promoting the altcoin Mimble Wimble.
Okay, I found the link. Bitcoin. Pleasure to meet you. Great to introduce you. I'm so honored. Trace Mayer handed out a piece of paper promoting Wimble at a Bitcoin conference. Great to meet you. How does that make you feel?
What? I'm sorry. What?
He promoted Wimble. Traced it. Trace Mayer. I don't confiscatable.
Who the fuck is Trag Major?
He's like a big Bitcoin promoter. He created the term hodler of last resort. Founded the annual Proof of Key celebration. He's a monetary sovereignty patriot.
Sorry, I've never heard of him.
Well, now he's promoting another coin.
Okay. So? You know what? Bitcoin doesn't give a fuck. And neither should you. And live from Las Vegas, it's Bitcoin Saturday night. So, Juan, what do you think so far about how the show's going?
Yeah, it's great. I mean, I really like the jokes. I actually find it funny. I think my mic was obviously kind of bad. Is it better now?
It's better now. The more you lean into it, you definitely have to lean in.
I was like,
definitely from a technical perspective, my goal was to show you going back and forth. I should have switched it into this gallery mode that we're using right now. I think that would have made more sense for you being the reporter and me being the Bitcoin guy. Having the one logo didn't really work. Like, we failed at a technical level there.
Yeah, and I had a microphone. I thought I was on camera, so I was like doing the microphone thing.
You definitely intended to be at the very least in the corner.
Yeah.
Screen thing, but it didn't turn out that way.
Yeah. No, doing a live show is tricky, but I think it pays off because there's no post production, you know.
All right, let's see what happened next.
All right.
This is Bitcoin Saturday night, featuring the not ready for blockchain players, Mad Bitcoins, Juan S. Galt, Ugly Old Goat, and guest starring Trag Major, Guacamole Chuco, and tonight's special guest, Juan S. Galt. And now, here's the host of our show, Mad Bitcoins. I think that was hey, how you doing, everybody? Welcome to Bitcoin Saturday night. Now, before we get started, I want to tell you guys a little story. We were out this weekend in Las Vegas at the Unconfiscatable Bitcoin Conference. They had a little celebrity poker tournament starring Tone Vase.
Yeah, Tone Vase.
Tone Vase, the promoter of the conference. And anyway, spoiler alert, Tone also won the poker tournament. Not rigged at all.
Not rigged at all. Not rigged, indeed. Yes.
There's a new kind of precious metal, and even Bitcoiners are selling to get in early.
IPO.
It's kind of like an IPO. It's called aluminium. And if you're lucky, the tokens are made out of tuna. The new carnivory is canned. If it's canned, it's good.
It's canned. It can be canned. It's beans, it's canned, or chicken, or it's canned, or like as long as it's canned, it's good. It's a buy.
And how do you handle the virus in Mexico?
Here in Mexico, we like to do it in style. You know, you have 6 Coronas a day, and by that point, you don't really care. You know, you're like, you just Corona. You know, but it doesn't matter anymore.
There's a rumor going around YouTube that you can't say the words coronavirus or you'll get demonetized.
You cut him out just at the right time, because right after you cut him out, he just about gagged.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, every time they open the stock market, it just keeps dropping. But the Bitcoin market never closes, and it just keeps going up. Maybe they should just.
Well, yeah, we're kind of like pausing it, I guess.
And now we. So I thought that worked pretty well. I mean, the monologue jokes failed appropriately, like a monologue. I mean, they were good, but not great. They got through.
You cut him off just about when he was gagged. As soon as you cut him off, he just about gagged.
Whatever. I feel like a man, like a champ.
Lucky.
I was really burpy. I wasn't expecting to be that burpy.
Hey, who are you getting coming up? Who are you getting mad at? Was that me or so? Who was getting into you? You'll see it.
Oh yeah, so like Gold Lady started playing the audio live in the studio.
Oh yeah.
It's like the echo was gonna get crazy, right? So I'm just like, kill it. I was pissed. All right.
I was wondering what I didn't know what that was.
Yeah, I'm like, no, kill it. It's no good.
Well, it wasn't our regular link. She couldn't figure out how to it was very confusing. So at any rate,
it's all right. Just a bunch of little technical details and stuff.
But the most important thing is, we just consistently decide to do this, and it was fun.
It was fun.
The whole thing is, guys, it's like Bitcoin. If it's not fun, don't get into it.
Yeah, you gotta enjoy the ride, man.
If you can't have fun trading, don't trade.
Yeah. Well, Corona Sands here for all of us. We might as well just, enjoy the show.
All right, let's see what happened next. I'd like to welcome our very special guest to the show. Let's hear it for Juan S. Gold.
There's like a frame there of me still drinking beer.
Juan, welcome to the show. We understand you just got back from the Unconfiscatable conference. What was your favorite memory from the conference?
Oh, it was great. Everything was polished. Everything looked beautiful. Las Vegas is awesome. I got to hang out with Adam Back for a little bit. He's super chill. He's just like a relaxed, nice Brit. Excuse me. Whew. I just had a Corona. It was great.
And at the conference, something strange happened. Trace came out in support of Wimble. Just a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough, Like, hard to say exactly what's going on. He was a big supporter, and big, the creator of the Honolulu Last Resort. He's done so much good for Bitcoin. I've always been a big fan, but this Wimble thing, man, like I think. It's tough. I think if he'd gone hard like Richard Hart or Roger Ver, like just all in, like I think that would be like, in a sense, easier to swallow, right? But those business cards, man, that was like, looked like it was like a 50-cent card printed at Target or something. It was terrible.
I definitely think next time he could get better business cards. And finally, in the news this week, everyone's talking about coronavirus and the end of the world. What do you think, Juan?
I think that's it. I think we've had a good run. I think we peaked last year, the year before that, and it was good. We've enjoyed the ride. Now it's just downhill. We all knew it was coming, and I think it's here. So just get the popcorn, ladies and gentlemen.
We had a good run. Get ready for World 2.0. And now here on our Oh, come on, Juan the nihilist. There's a lot of great things left in the world.
That was great.
We got to stay healthy and take all our immune boosters and vitamin C.
Yeah, we gotta just to get that vitamin C. Just start
Wash your
ODing on
hands,
vitamin C.
buy some more soap.
Yeah, go long on cans.
I got a new invention today. I went out and bought this suit, and when I was a kid, I used to wear suspenders. I haven't worn suspenders. When you get to be an old man, suspenders are kind of handy because I don't know why it is. I guess the shape of your body changes or something, and your pants tend to fall down. So these suspenders, they're kind of nice because no matter what you do, your pants stay up. You don't have to worry about showing that old ass crack.
It's not just a fashion choice; it's a functional.
We got an audience here. That's great. We got a few people. The voice was a little low. Can you hear us okay? Is the audio reasonable? We got 18.
There's like a magic line. When you move across the line, everyone can hear your audio. When you're not across the line,
when I'm staring over here, there's just no audio. Okay.
Oh, now there's a little bit more.
It's like, we gotta fix that. I mean, right now I could
very
try
directional and it's very line based.
Like, share. He say Trace Mayer. Trace. Oh. Talk about your predictions about. We'll do Corona maybe later after another 2 Coronas. All right, roll it.
All right, here we go. What happened next? Our very first episode of Bitcoin Saturday Night, we're joined by a very special guest, a man who needs no introduction. And here he is, Trace Mayer. Trace, thanks so much for being here. It's truly an honor to have you. As everyone knows, you're a legendary Bitcoin evangelist. You've been promoting Bitcoin long before it was cool, and you're always right.
I am indeed always right. Bitcoin is real, and I was telling people about it when it was just $1.
My goodness, if you were telling about it when it was $1, why that would mean?
Well, yes, that's I'm a billionaire. That's with a big capital B. I'm in that 3 comma club. I could buy and sell you, yet I really don't care. And it's actually one of my best qualities because I don't care. I don't care, Jimmy Crackthorne. Oh.
That's really
and you're just so incredible.
Going, which is great.
Oh, yes. Oh, have you gotten one of my business cards yet?
Not yet. I'll hold on to that for later. I heard at the look at all that
unconfiscatable
Bitcoin.
All that
snow. Suddenly promoting Wimble Coin.
Well, no, I've always believed in the Bitcoin, and I still believe in the Bitcoin. But the problem is Bitcoin just doesn't fly. This Mimbo-Wimbo. Look. I don't need any of this anymore. I can't write on this. But look at that. I can fly with this. This Mimbo-Wimbo flies.
That's unbelievable. Really unbelievable. Are you sure you need Mimble-Wimble? I thought Bitcoin was good enough.
Well, look, Mimbo-Wimbo coin, it's applied to the base layer. Okay. And it's unlike any other coin. It's untraceable. Okay. Did you get that? Untraceable. Now you probably didn't catch it all because untraceable.
I can see this is going places. Let's go ahead and welcome in our other guest from the other side of the debate, the legendary Italian Bitcoin. Well, I thought that went pretty well.
That's funny, yeah.
All good.
That did good.
Back and forth, go with the throwing in the improv with the Jimmy Crackthorne song. Totally funny. Unexpected. And we had the snowfall too. We had special effects.
Oh yeah.
That was pretty advanced segment right there, I think.
I am more comfortable ad-libbing than I have a problem with the script. And guys, they got it on a read board.
I'm surprised how well he did.
I had those wire. I can't see it. I gotta have my glasses to see it, and that's why I'd rather just ad-lib. It's kind of like trading. You just kind of go with the flow. You just get into it, and you kind of have to learn to pause and then and let
Maybe we
the other
can
guy.
do, yeah. Maybe we can do some improv next time, or like figure out how that will work. Do some improv. I don't know.
Like,
But I mean, you did really well with the
no,
script. I'm
but with
surprised.
Thomas and I have done it before. I've done some improv.
Yeah,
with him.
yeah.
We just get up and start doing it, and
true.
it's kind of just
That's
comes
great.
natural. And if I try and do it,
Yeah.
it doesn't work very good.
Well,
If I'm
the
not
best
trying, then it felt pretty good.
is what someone like Ali G would do. Like what they do is they perform a bunch of notes and they do a bunch of brainstorming beforehand. And this is kind of what we did on the yacht chain videos, is that we knew that there were certain like themes that we wanted to hit that we thought were funny. Like that we thought it was funny that yacht chain had the longest chain.
Oh yeah.
Physical world, and it's the heaviest chain, therefore the strongest. And the kind of ideas, like we knew we were going to lead the people there, but that's because we had like a brainstorm session beforehand. So I think you gotta do both halves of it, the improv half and like the kind of brainstorming, because that's where like I mean, I think Untraceable is funny. I think throwing that in is fun. I think the riding the broom was funny. Mimble Wimble, Harry Potter, like I think all of that is just funny stuff. I mean, we tried to, we did our best. Everyone's like, "Oh, you're not funny. I mean, you're the internet. I get it. It's not Python every time and everything." But like, I think it was funny. It was good attempts to be funny. So
no, and I was having fun. I think that's the whole thing. If we're having fun, it comes. I don't know. Did you ever watch any? This is probably before you guys were born, but it was Carol Burnett show she'd have on TV, and sometimes who was it? The guy's on the radio now. There was an old guy that did "Hello Mother, Hello Father." He had this song that was real popular way back in the 50s or 60s. But they would get on TV and they were just having so much fun. They would start laughing, and you would start laughing because they were laughing. And that's what being live is all about. It really is. It's just getting up there and having
more
fun.
improv is probably a good idea. Yeah.
Well,
I'm a big believer.
What's funny though is there's two sides to that.
Have an outline, you have a guide, but the best thing that's going to come. I mean, I thought of some of that stuff that came up, but Jimmy Crack Corn, that just came up when you said that. It popped right in my mind. Jimmy Crack Corn, and I don't care. Jimmy Crack, and I.
That was really funny. She kept going.
Well, and Carol Burnett was all about breaking. They would break and like lose their composure, whereas Saturday Night Live, they were supposed to keep their composure and keep it really tight. And then some of them, like Chevy Chase, didn't care. And then other people would screw up every once in a while. And then later on, it got out of control with the amount of people screwing up. And then just like, the joke is that the joke didn't work. That's not the best joke. I mean, Johnny Carson did that for years, but still.
Yeah.
Well, Johnny Carson was one of a kind. He knew how to improv. That's for sure.
It's great.
Yeah, he really did, eh?
You can see him and like Letterman and other people, Conan. You can see them thinking. They're like winding up, like getting ready for that joke or that situation. They've got it coming. So,
all right.
But let's see what happened next when we were joined by Guacamole Chuco, and Maximalist, but he identifies as Greek salad dressing, Guacamole Chuco. I think that's funny. Salad dressing.
My audio here, sadly, is not on point.
Hey, good guacamole.
You're nice and loud, just like real Giacomo.
Right.
Get that on Twitter already. Somebody's gonna grab that one.
I identify as guacamole. It's great.
Okay.
Yeah, I have to
identify as guacamole.
Applies to the base layer. You understand that, guacamole, don't you?
Applied at the base layer. That's a spicy meatball. That's a spicy meatball.
You spicy meat. What kind of a man are you? You like spicy meatballs? What? Untraceable. Untraceable.
Wimble sounds like something out of Harry Potter. Like that. What is that?
Harry Potter.
Untraceable. It's good money. It's base layer.
What's wrong with Bitcoin? Bitcoin is good money. Okay, it's good money. It's immaculate conception. It's strong. It's like Jesus. Bitcoin is like Jesus.
Wimble up 100 times BTC in 2 months, and untraceable. untraceable. Untraceable.
I don't know about your wimble. Like, wimble your wimble somewhere else, okay? I don't need your shit coins. I just coin join. You just write a coin and the other coin, and you join them, and you coin that you join.
Mimbo Wimbo is the new mayor multiple. It's a Mimbo Wimbo multiple.
What you gonna do with that?
Here we messed up.
Did you get a card?
A little bit.
Oh, I think you did get a card.
Thanks, actually. I needed that.
That was all I had.
That was improv, yeah.
I didn't do
That was
better.
funny. That was improv. Yeah.
The mayor, multi-mayor, multiple. That sounds like a homomorphic encryption to me, man. I don't know about that. Yeah. Homomorphic.
What are you gonna do, Guacamole?
And then I didn't hear that. So I was
Yeah, I
trying
do
to,
love it. Well, thank you for asking me. Yeah, it goes Mimbo, Mimbo, Wimbo, 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 money. Oh, money. Mimbo, Mimbo, Wimbo, 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 Mimbo, money. Money was good.
I take out my phone.
Noise outside the
Started
studio.
early.
I'm being told there's
I'm calling back
500
up right now. I'm
Bitcoiners
calling back.
outside the studio. They've got torches and pitchforks.
And then
I think they
couldn't
want
hear
some
the
meat.
Bitcoin thing.
F this. I'm going to my bunker. Mad Bitcoin's out.
Where's that? I need the staff.
The
I need the
Bitcoiners,
staff.
they're serious. The Bitcoiners are
Protect me,
serious.
Bitcoin. Protect me, Bitcoin.
I
Wimbo,
like
where's my Mimbo, Wimbo? My Mimbo, Wimbo.
And you cut out, and I actually knocked the camera down, and we couldn't. That didn't show. That was funny, but whatever.
Oh,
That was
yeah, they didn't play so well there at the end, but we scripted it, but it didn't.
Yeah.
It didn't.
good. Yeah.
Parts.
A few
of it
things
were
didn't go
okay.
like they should have gone, but I think
A little bit
overall,
of a fight over the microphone there.
yeah, it was a fight over the microphone.
They'll
That
go
was
wins
wrong.
the microphone fight. And
Yeah.
my favorite line, I like it when you say immaculate conception.
Immaculate conception. Yeah.
It's Giacomo. It's very Giacomo. Like
Very
it goes back to the immaculate conception. You don't
Immaculate.
understand. If you want to understand Bitcoin, you need to understand Jesus.
Bitcoin is like Jesus.
So it is like Jesus. So
Like
I think that was funny. I mean, I think there's a lot of funny lines in there.
yeah.
Homomorphic encryption and go sticking with the untraceable.
Yeah.
That was
But there
very
some great
tracy.
jokes.
So and then I think we get to the end.
I hope people got that point that it was just a bunch of rabid Bitcoiners with
Yeah,
torches and
the
pitchforks.
yeah
us.
the
I don't know if that
story.
came across.
Yeah, the storyboard was he was going to say, "I've had enough of this."
I don't know if this. I'm
He was
calling back up.
calling
and then,
back up,
And then.
and
shit hit
then
the fan.
yeah, all these Bitcoiners with their staffs were knocking at my door, and
Yeah,
we
didn't
had
quite get
time.
the-
I wanted to have a get. I wanted to have.
Yeah, come on.
No, I wanted to have a couple stand-up guys. I wanted to appear as Richard Hart and Roger Veer.
That would have been great.
And you just say, "Oh, my friends, Richard Hart and Roger Veer are here," and then have them have a real flash video of them, just a real quick picture of them, and one of them has a big black hat on with a magic wand, and the other one's going like this,
Flipping people out
flipping the
and
bullet
stuff, yeah.
ball, and say, "Oh, I'm so glad you guys are here. I feel kindred spirits already." But
All right.
anyway, that's where we have to go with this. This is where
All we had left here is at the
better.
end.
This is, I guess, have you ever watched? Somebody sent me the first Joe Rogan show. That was pretty darn fun.
Yay!
That was perfect.
I'd like to thank Juan S. Galt, Ugly Old Goat, Mad Bitcoins, World Crypto Network. I want to thank Treg Major, Guacamole Chuco. Juan, get in there. Go get in there. Wave goodbye.
Bye.
Say good night, everybody.
Bye.
And out.
And we're out.
Yeah, no, we did it.
Definitely
Add
one of
some
my
things to
favorite
the
parts
chat.
is it's under 15 minutes.
Yeah,
Shows
it's
really
really short.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really
didn't
short.
waste anybody's time. We
Yeah,
just
exactly.
watched it again right now.
Yeah.
We're like done. I
Yeah,
mean,
shorter is better. I
It's
agree. If we
definitely
can keep it short,
try
that,
to make it
you know,
fast.
I have a big respect for Mark Dice, and that's he's built it. He's built his YouTube by doing, he's written books and everything, but his YouTube story is very short.
5-minute videos, man.
Yeah,
It's
and
powerful.
and he has a huge following, and I did want to show people in the set that the set will be changing all the time. The goat lady wants to add a whole other wing and kind of set it up so we can have more people here. But the kind of cool thing is we add new things.
Here at the
We
bar.
got, this is the pinball poster, and I got it signed by the winner, Tommy Salzberg, and then Tone Bass.
Tone Bass, yeah.
So this is that poster. I was the winner of this. I bid and got the highest bidder of the American flag. It was the one I was hoping I'd get.
Mhm.
And
Man.
this is, you did tell us.
Yeah, this
tell
is
us
weaved.
about
It's weaved with Venezuelan bolivares. It's an origami piece by a Colombo Venezuelan artist called Orlando Ortega, and yeah, it's a beautiful piece. I
it.
mean,
How
it's one of
many
the.
boulevard do you think it wound up in?
I think there's like a few hundred, definitely like a few hundred of them. I
300
think
million
as far as monetary value, it's like
No.
nothing.
No, I know, but as far as Bolivar.
As far as the the denomination, the amount, probably a few million bolivares. Yeah, for sure.
So,
And about I think it's like 250 different bills, so 150 unit bills. So yeah,
It
it's
took
a
a
good
lot
piece.
of thought.
It's a beautiful piece. Yeah.
do that. I mean, 'cause
No,
I
that's a
don't-
favorite for sure.
I don't know how he
Yeah.
did it.
We're gonna try to hang it
The
over
only thing
here.
that's not on the currency are the stars. He pasted
Yeah,
the
yeah.
stars on, but everything
Yeah,
else. If you look at the backside, look at this backside.
yeah. And every bill.
I don't know if we can get a close up of this or not.
It
But
probably-
you see every bill on there.
Yeah. You
Really
can see
kinda
every
cool.
bill. There's a bunch of hundreds, I think. It's hundreds and 20, 200.
Oh, hey, you know what? Since I'm on, we had a lot of parties that are unconfiscatable because we had a suite. But I had a signed book from Stephen and Amazon on the Bitcoin Standard, and also the one that Jimmy Song's son. I think somebody picked up my book.
Yeah.
My book's my mistake. So if you're watching and have my book, just let me know.
Yeah,
And sometime at a conference, because I really,
that's
I
sad.
want,
Yeah.
yeah.
I have one of those, and it was signed by like 5 different people, and I don't know where it went. I
No,
left it at your thing, and it was gone.
okay.
Anyway,
Yeah, I know. I think it's kind of disappeared.
it's
So
been a
anyway,
good ride.
guys,
We have some questions.
right.
You have
Check in
to
with the
weave
chat.
Olivares.
Chitlins Laundry joined us.
Yeah, that's right.
Digimoney promo says he loves the voice.
That's great.
Trace Mayer says
Trace is a
Trade
famous-
is a famous old school Bitcoin pioneer.
Yeah.
He's a legend. We got a major comment here. Digimoney says Bitcoin to 4,000 by April. What do you think? Juan, an ugly old goat, Bitcoin to 4,000 by April.
Oh,
I don't make any price predictions because I trade and I trade on the basis I don't know where the market's going, but I wouldn't discount it. I'm
Yeah,
not,
it's possible.
I mean, it'd be the healthiest thing in the world if we go into bear. I think the real big, the big issue on this market are these altcoins. And if you notice, this alt season was so short, and you know, they are going to zero, people, and it's not going to be pretty. And we don't know what effect that's going to have on Bitcoin. I thought Tone has made a bet, which I thought was pretty good. I think he'll win it. And his bet is it will not be over $10,000 for 90 days in 2020. And I think that, you know, we may have topped this thing out for quite a long while. But I don't know. I mean, it does. I hope that's true because it's going to give us
more time to
lot
accumulate
to
and
be
stuff.
accumulating this stuff.
yeah.
And if, you know, so I'm not afraid of it either way. You know,
Yeah.
I knew when they started tweeting, we'll never see 10,000 again. I thought
It's
that was,
over.
I knew that was,
We topped.
and now I hear people, well, we'll never see it go under
I wish I
8,000. You know what? I don't know that, guys. I mean, I have a pretty good track record trading. I'm actually against anybody, but I don't know.
Yeah.
And that's the goal is you just want to keep it, you know, the fundamentals is it's going to keep going up. And the basic fundamental in Bitcoin is not even Bitcoin itself. Bitcoin is an innovation, and it was innovated because of the problems we've created ourselves for the last 3 generations. The fundamentals behind that was the innovation. All these shit coins are not innovative. To me, the next innovation isn't going to be in the crypto world. It's going to come from you guys, entrepreneurs. And that's where the innovation, all the innovation is coming. So that's just my view. So
I think
And let us know what you think in the chat. Will the Bitcoin price go up with the halving, or will the coronavirus and the stock market push it down?
Yeah, that's one of the things that
Is
that is
10,000
worth
just
saying.
a
Like,
large point?
buy canned food, and people are like starting to think, okay, maybe I should stock up on food and stuff and supplies. I mean, we may have done it, and I'm telling everybody to like just stock up on canned food just in case, and so on. So that could affect the fundamentals in the short term. I think the halving has to have a upward pressure. I mean, unless the demand goes down a lot, that shortening of supply should start pulling it up. But I think the anticipation towards that happening might not come or get dampened by this whole corona thing. So
Yeah, well, my view of the halving is it's really a non-event because
I disagree with that.
it's just like
Yeah.
inflation. That's a misnomer. There is
No, but there
inflation.
is extra supply. There's like $19 million a day dropping into the market, and that's
Well,
denominated in Bitcoin.
right, but we
Half
all,
of it's gonna
but,
shorten.
right, but we know that what the total supply is. The whole key is it's a fixed supply. It might be delayed coming on the marketplace, but that's really the people that bring up the word inflation. That comes from the crypto world. That doesn't really come. I don't know.
Comes
Maybe it comes with the original.
It comes from the
papers.
fiat world,
That's-
really. It comes from the fiat world, but the amount of bitcoins entering the market to dump and pay electricity bills is going to cut in half. And yeah, okay, the inflation is, it's not technically inflation, it's just the emission, like predictable emission, but of new coins. But it is going to come.
I think the
Yeah,
overwhelming.
we just got $2 by Poo Wee. He says my butt makes noises. I mean,
Really.
I'd be concerned if it didn't sometimes. That would be really really bad for your health. But thanks, Poo Wee.
I
Yeah,
also want to say
Harry
that
Poopter is has become
Kiwi bloke said you have to weave bolivars into a flag to make them worth something. Lol.
Absolutely.
Etienne Gomez says, hello, guys. Salutes from Venezuela.
All right.
Welcome to the show. And Wook Chewy says, excellent show. Ugly, you've got funny clothes. And then a funny shout out from Poo Wee. So welcome to everyone in the chat. If you want to call us right now, you can call us on Skype at World Crypto Network. All one word. Just add us on Skype and call us up there.
We want to get better at this.
Yeah.
Juan's down here working with me, and he's kind of helping me bring me up to speed technologically. And so, I appreciate that. We've got some new ideas we're going to be doing, but we're not going to announce them here. But we are working on a lot of new stuff. And,
hey, DJ Booth is here. How's it going, DJ? This guy's cool.
Very cool.
He built the what's it called? The crowdfunding website. It's great. It's really good stuff.
He built
called,
the
Yeah,
Uh,
he built the
Tallycoin.
Bitcoin crowdfunding website.
Wow.
It's legit. It's the way it should be done.
And
It's
here
called
it is
Tallycoin.
right here.
Yeah,
Here's
Tallycoin.
our tally coin that I made just before we started the show for Bitcoin Saturday night. If you like the show,
We made
our goal is
0.17. We
That's
made
the goal.
$1,500.
we made a goal. yeah, we made a goal of
We're killing
0.17.
it right here.
But no, we've received 0 transactions so far because I forgot to show the QR code during the show.
That's great. That's a
but
really
there,
good
there it
website.
is. That's
The money
Tallycoin.
goes directly to you. There's no third-party intermediary, right? So it's direct. It's basically a web wallet. Not really a web wallet. It's just a public. It's a QR code of your of your public key and stuff. So
Then we're gonna see if this works here. We're gonna try to drop this.
that's
in.
a cool little website too.
This
That's
is the other website that
really cool
DJ
winter,
Booth
apparently.
just worked on. It's called Bitcoinal, Bitcoin AL, and there's a little hodl bull just came in right here, but we're at 8,681. Kind of need to see like a more zoomed out view. I don't know how we do that, but here we go. Chart.
Yeah,
rate.
we're coming up. Today's end of month and tomorrow's end of week, so we'll see what happens. Yeah, I think we kind of broke the back in Bitcoin. I'd be surprised. I think we're gonna have a real hard time going above 10,000 now. That's my view, but
Yeah, that could happen.
it could get real boring again.
Which
it
is
could
good.
It could, but it could sit here between 6,000 and 8,000. But I also wouldn't be surprised if we have some kind of a flash crash. We'll take. Who knows where that could go. I don't rule out that $1,000 Bitcoin. I don't think it's very likely, but I've seen Bitcoin do stuff like that before.
Yeah.
So the thing is, you have to have that in the back of your mind. Can you survive that? And, that's why, I have another business besides Bitcoin.
Yeah,
I have another business besides
I
being
don't.
an ugly old goat.
I'm all in.
Well, I
I'm
know
all
that.
in on
I've
so
been
many
there.
levels. It's
Right.
Don't sell Bitcoin.
I like the huddle bowl.
Don't
All in
sell
some-
Bitcoin.
some-
Don't sell Bitcoin.
There you go. Sorry.
I had to do it.
Had to be done.
Well, unfortunately, I have a family to support, so I
that
have to
makes
sell
sense.
Bitcoin sometimes to support that family. But so far, the goat lady's been pretty good. She doesn't force me to sell Bitcoin unless the market's
Oh.
up. So that's worked out fairly well so far.
That's great. So you were clicking the Audible just now?
Yep. If you click the huddle bowl, it says
great.
that.
That's awesome.
So
That sound was there's a little bull on the chart, and you click it and it makes that sound. Don't
Alright.
sell. Don't
Don't
sell.
sell,
Yeah,
Don't sell Bitcoin.
it's funny.
I think it's John Oliver's voice.
Owned.
But
I would like to donate, guys, but I already donated it all to Mr. Heist. Who's Mr. Heist?
I don't know. But I hope it was a good cause.
Yeah, I hope so.
They're
too.
saying, hey, is that Trace? It sure does look like Trace.
Let me
Oh
get
my
on my
gosh.
coat. I
Yeah.
guess I need to
He's
go
got-
back
he's
and get
ready.
into character.
He's ready.
He's ready. He's got his broom and everything. For those of you who are just joining us, we just finished rewatching Bitcoin Saturday Night, a fun little show that Goat and Juan and I just worked on together. Had a fun time. Now we're hanging out with you in the chat. You can give us a call on Skype at World Crypto Network, all one word.
He is untraceable. Hey, DJ
Oh, he's
Boogie.
got the
Yes,
full.
untraceable.
Oh, Hayes is the BitMEX
A
CEO.
bull.
It sounds like Etienne got wiped out by one of those up and down candle things, or one of those stop losses. It doesn't work sometimes. Sometimes it stops more than a loss.
Bravo, Encore Club 80 liked it. That's great. Hey, we got 25 people watching. This is good.
Yeah.
How's it go? Welcome, everybody. Leave us some comments. Let us know what you think about this.
Arthur Hayes, that's the guy that gave me a T-shirt said "Hodl."
Or Arthur Hayes. That's Mr.
Yeah.
Mr. Bitmix. I get it. So the guy who donated it all to Bitmix, Hayes. Yeah.
Is he on there?
No.
Arthur, I love you. Are you really on there, or is that a fake Arthur Hayes?
It's a catfish.
Okay.
I think it's Bitcoin motorist.
Okay.
Where's I'm Guacamole Chuco. I mean, hopefully that'll satisfy your, if that works for you, then great.
Tell us more about the character of Guacamole Chuco.
Well, see, I'm Italian, but I'm also Mexican, and so I really like guacamole, and it's great. It's a really, there's I can't help it. My it's just speak like a Spanish, like Spanglish, but I also like pizza and meatballs and
And
stuff.
there's no Giacomo in South America or Latin America.
No, but there is guacamole.
Yeah, guacamole. We
Definitely
know it.
guacamole.
In fact, a lot of us call him we didn't know how to say his name, so we just call him guacamole.
It's a lot easier to
Italian,
spell.
yes. Well, pizza, spaghetti. Hey, it's me, Mario. But that's reverted back to childhood there for a moment.
Yep. So that was some fun part of the show. You played Trace. I played Bitcoin in the beginning. Juan was a reporter asking questions to Bitcoin. The main idea there in that opening sketch is just that, it's great that Trace likes Bitcoin, or that Roger likes Bitcoin, or that Trace likes Wimblecoin. But Bitcoin really doesn't care. Bitcoin doesn't care about me or you or the price going up or down. And that's one of the great things about Bitcoin. The essential code itself, the way that Bitcoin works, is really difficult to change. You need a lot of developers to agree. You need a whole consensus, all of this back and forth debate, all of that. That makes Bitcoin stronger. It just continues to exist. You send money to anyone you want. They receive it. There's no list that says, oh, you got the bad money or whatever, all these kind of things. And they're working on new solutions, Lightning, Liquid, other
Well,
things.
you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to plug my Medium article, if you can pull
Yeah,
that
go
up,
ahead. Yeah,
because
let's do
this
I'll send you a
whole
link.
this whole incident inspired me to write that, because I've been kind of struggling with this anyway. What do I do with these shit coins? Do I just ignore them, or do I grab them and then sell them? And I kind of come to the conclusion And I ended it this way. I think you can make a very valid argument that it's our duty to, as long as it's safe to get them and you're not giving up your privacy, it's almost our duty to get those Bitcoins because it increases our Bitcoin wealth. And, it's the only mistake in my mind that Trace Mayer made is not that he has the Nimblewimble, or that he, did the I don't know if he's on the pre-mine or anything like that, but whether or not he turned in, he claimed, whether or not he claimed any. The only problem that he had is he promoted it. And that's the downfall, because he knows better that it's not sound money, and that's been the focus of all of my Medium articles. And the competition is not going to come with competing standards. The competition is going to come on the standard.
Yeah, it's really tough that they're adding a new unit of account, and this is what every altcoin person comes and like. Last night I had a guy that's really big fan of Beam, and he's like, "Hey, you calling my coin a scam? Why you calling my coin a scam?" And he just started giving me shit like at 4 in the morning, like at 3 in the morning. And I'm like, "Okay, so why? Tell me about it." So we started talking about it. It's like the main problem. Like I like Wimble technology, like the Wimble actual cryptographic scheme and stuff. It's really good technology as far as I can tell. But like, why do you need another unit of account, right? Like, how can we make this thing, just attach this thing to Bitcoin, instead of starting just another private cash, another anonymous pseudonymous cash, and then just saturating the market, and then all the weird airdrop pre-mine stuff. I mean, it's it complicates things beyond the mean kind of reasonable, right? So we don't know how those things get distributed and stuff, and then you got a whole other sort of open source code base. There's a lot of problems with that, so anyway, I think it's going to be an interesting discussion, and I think it's going to continue, and it's only going to continue because Bitcoin has it still has kind of questionable privacy, and so that weakness is going to keep drawing attention and keep getting hit until we either fix it or we fall to it.
Well, and I want to step up and make a stand here for crypto Twitter, the overreactors. Was there just a little bit of overreaction out there? Trace does all this work. He goes to all these conferences. He talks to anybody. He's a nice guy. Like we joked about in the video, he's probably doing pretty well. He doesn't really have to talk to anybody if he doesn't want to. And he goes to all these conferences. He's nice. He does this one goofy thing. He's promoting some weird website. Maybe he's dumping some weird altcoin. Even if that's true, he's still a nice guy. I mean, I really Twitter burned him at the stake, and there were people like, and they said the nicest things. They always say the nicest things before they stab you in the belly. And the guy's like, Trace was my reason for being in Bitcoin, and now he has betrayed us. And like all of this like overreaction and this drama, and I hope it felt good for everybody. I hope they love the drama and they had fun with it. But I was really kind of just not so into the drama.
Well, he made a mistake, and I guess if you're high profile, you're going to be examined, with a fine-tooth comb, and so I guess that's what you can expect. Hopefully, we had fun with it, and hopefully we didn't offend anyone. I frankly think that both Trace and Giacomo will look at this and laugh at it and enjoy it.
Yeah, and Bitcoiners too. Yeah, I mean, I think people are pretty freaked out about this, and they're getting their pitchforks and their torches out, and he's no Trace, man. He's no Roger Ver, no Craig Wright. So let's see. Hopefully we can get some context, and I don't know. And all this stuff that he did that was good stuff is not undone by this. This is just a fuck up and a leveling in a sense. And I mean, he should reconsider his whatever he's doing right now a little bit maybe, but that doesn't mean that everything he's done at Bitcoin Knowledge Podcast. I mean, that's a really great podcast.
He has been and he has consistently advocated.
Yeah.
That if you're a hodler, you get these extra benefits because people want to launch their coins, and the way they do it is distribute it to hodlers. And I get it. And but to jump on the bandwagon one, and because eventually you have to come to it's better than Bitcoin, And that's is essentially where
Mhm.
he's also come to that conclusion. Well, this could be one that's better than Bitcoin.
Mhm. Yeah, it's tough. I think it's I've been always okay with dumping shitcoins, but I think the pumping is where this fraud comes in and where the scam comes in. I think as Bitcoiners, yeah, I agree. I think we have a duty to dump them, if we can do it safely.
I
But I
also
think the
thought it
pumping
was
is
it
where it
was
gets
really
tricky.
funny the way everyone went off like this was a big secret that Trace
Yeah,
was
yeah,
handing out these flyers and oh he's suddenly a fan of Mimblewimble, and I think he went on the Stefan Livera podcast a week or two ago to talk about this and to talk about something he's interested in. And even if you just go to his website tracemayer.net, it says right here in the third
Yeah.
paragraph, and I mean it's kind of funny because it's kind of like a Roger-esque thing to do. He says a core purpose of, or sorry, he says he was the first popular blogger to step onto the battlefield of ideas and publicly recommend the powerful blockchain technologies, Bitcoin and Mimblewimble coin in their infancies with market caps under 2 million.
wow. So he's
So
serious,
I,
right?
No,
yeah, I
Like
mean,
he's
I don't know I
I,
mean, we could check in the Internet Archive, see if, see when that changed and this kind of thing. But in
no,
general, he's
there's an
been very
interesting thing
open
where
and
he
clear
did
and
a thing with
public
Adam.
about this
Yeah,
thing.
he did a thing with Adam Meister in December that I watched, and he was promoting it. Then it's not shouldn't be a surprise or secret because he was doing it. So I don't think there was anything
I mean, I wasn't aware of it, but
undercover. Yeah,
sure.
I think a lot of people weren't
Yeah.
aware of it.
But remember, for a lot of millennials, this is like their JFK assassination moment. Where were
Yeah.
you when Trace
Yeah,
started
yeah.
talking about Mimblewimble?
Well,
And
yeah,
oh,
yeah.
I remember I was wearing my Trace hoodie and I had my Trace mug, and I got really sad about what happened.
Well, and this says
He's
a lot
still
about
there.
American
Still
hodl,
there.
and like I get it. Like the Bitcoin Cash fork was a real psychologically it was really tough, because it was like it felt like a civil war. It felt like a great conflict. It felt like the conflict of sort of my Bitcoin career in a sense, debating Roger Ver and stuff. And I think a lot of people felt like that, but the result after the dust settles is you're guarded, you're tough, you're hardened, you're ready for battle, and that's taking like a couple 2-3 years for people to like relax a little bit. And 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 even then, like, I think it's important for us to stay vigilant in a sense of the scams, and people certainly are. But the fact that this guy was doxed himself for to hang out with Trace Mayer and then was utterly disappointed, and I mean, it's, I don't know. You gotta. I like the way that Adam Meister put it. He said, "Trace Mayer isn't your daddy. Be your own daddy." I think that really sums it up well.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, and people we got to be careful
Getting a lot
because
of comments here.
um, I was just appeared on Adam Meister's show, and he was a little bit hurt because when this thing blew up, and Jimmy Song and Tone did a great job of covering it in a video that they did, and they actually
They're back.
you guys know more about this back end than I do. There was some big article that came out. The exchange got hacked or they lost a couple $1 million to this thing, and basically it's not decentralized because the article had disappeared, and apparently they paid off the guys to make that article disappear, but it kind of exposed it for what it was. But and Adam Meister was brought up in the conversation, and Adam Meister he says, look, I've never promoted any of these things. I consider it interest. I said, I'm a hodler and I'm in sound money, and people want to ride on their coattails and they think they have some new idea. I said, I've never promoted any of these, but I do claim them. And it just gives me, a bigger hodl. I haven't claimed most of them. I mean, I did B Cash, I think is the only one I did. And, even Jimmy, who I have the highest regard for, he was actually was in the business for a little while where you could, turn your keys over to him and he would return,
Yeah.
the Bitcoin gold and whatever, all these things. And I don't, what's happened is the market has changed. I think, and Thomas, you probably know this better than I do, but originally these were all hard forks, that they were there and you can still claim them. Even now, if you never claim them, there's hard forks, you can go in and get them. But
We are seeing some interesting comments from the chat here. Bitcoin Motorist writes, he says, the problem is not that Trace is a fan of Mimblewimble coin. the bigger problem is that he's been fudding CoinJoin. So what do you guys think about that? That the problem is not just that he's promoting an altcoin, but that maybe his information isn't so good, or his style or his choices.
Yeah, I think we're at a weird moment in Bitcoin, because Bitcoin's privacy is not default. You know, Bitcoin is interesting because it's like it's not explicitly biometric and attached to your identity and stuff, but it's also really not as anonymous as it could be, or maybe hopefully it should be. So it's sort of a weird kind of opt-in privacy, status, and that means that we have these dilemmas, right? We have a dilemma where we either like push hard with CoinJoin and dominate sort of transaction volume on the chain so that everything is CoinJoined, or you take a more risk averse approach and then you say, well, no, it's just if you opt in, you're choosing it, and that may come with legal liabilities and such. So I don't really know what the answer there is. I think Bitcoin needs to solve this, and I think technologies like Wimble and confidential transactions and Lightning Network are going to come in, and this software that's coming up soon is going to be really important for this, because it will make more private transactions cheaper, and that incentive change could be the mass adoption that we need from exchanges and from wallets and from everybody. But I think it's a little bit of all of the above.
Well, my view is I don't think privacy is it's a big thing within the crypto community, but for when Bitcoin takes off and becomes a standard, it's really not going to be a big issue. And that's just my belief. I mean, there's because there's only a very small segment of the market. The best way I can look at that is to examine the gold standard and how that evolved. And I still think that the way the one that's really troubled me that I don't get my head around and my hands around yet is Lightning Network. And because Jimmy Song's had a big influence on me. He says, you know what, if you can be done better without a chain, do it that way. Just use, it doesn't have to be decentralized. And that's why my question with Lightning Network is it really necessary? And that question I don't think has been answered yet. I think I'm getting closer to the answer. And a kind of a vision came to me just a few days ago that I think maybe Lightning Network is kind of like gold coinage. Because you got to remember, when gold became a standard, it didn't circulate anymore. It was never used as cash. Now, most of it was held as bars. They didn't mint coinage. And so a small investor, you could own a $20 gold piece or a $5 gold piece, but a $20 gold piece, that's the same as like $2,000. And today, for whatever, about an ounce of gold, what is it gold now, 1,600 or whatever?
Yeah.
Most people, they don't have that kind of money to save or some other things. So the real cash, but the real cash, once you're the standard, you're not going to be used as cash. There's going to be cash substitutes that have a lower intrinsic value than the face value. That's why I've said Bitcoin to come into its being, we have to have not just free market money, but free market banking also has to come into play.
I think on confiscate Lightning sort of kind of solves, because there's a problem with banking is that it's centralized custody, and Lightning allows us to have that coinage and that sort of low transaction fee network, but it
does not central. That's what people.
But that's how gold got taken down, right?
No, well, in a sense, but what the gold standard, what happened was, excuse me, the gold standard. It not only was gold was just one part of the marketplace. That was a redeeming. That was the governor, but there actually is such a thing as non-inflationary money creation that represents new goods and services coming into the market. So once you were on that gold standard, it wasn't just gold, but was everything else being offered on the market. So if you're offering something that was increasing in value or something that was selling like hotcakes, like an automobile, wow, you were doing very well. But if you were a bank and loading money for buggy whips, you probably made a bad loan, and people are going to call your notes and demand the gold rather than they don't really want to accept your notes. So a standard means that it's not just Bitcoin, it's not just gold, but everything in the marketplace is being measured, and there's such thing as self-liquidating commercial paper, And that's non-inflationary money creation. And that's where the market, I think, is going to eventually go.
You keep talking about an
If
article.
you're printing money, then you're printing money. I'm not sure how it's non-inflationary if you're printing money.
No,
So I think that if we go back to Bitcoin and the Lightning Network, what we're really doing here is we're attacking the problem from both ends. Bitcoin's great if you want to buy a house or a Lamborghini or a Ferrari. But if you want to buy a cup of coffee, you might want to use this Lightning Network, which is really just a second layer. What I think we're being challenged by here is that in the past, a gold coin, a cash dollar, even a so-called digital dollar, which was in the Federal Reserve computer or a bank computer, not really a free digital dollar. Whereas the Bitcoin, being this free digital dollar, can be both this heavy gold that you would send around for your castle or your chateau, your house in the south of France, or that it could also be this thing that's like we're talking about in the chat. They say gold shavings that you're sending around little shavings.
exactly.
And then also, I think when you talk about the Lightning Network, how it works in just a basic way, that we're all handing off this hot dog and we're all taking a very small little shaving of the hot dog.
Exactly.
Normally, we'd be worried about the size of the shavings.
And I agree with that completely.
Bad, but digitally, we can now do this. And just because it doesn't affect the gold. I agree with you that Bitcoin still works. Everyone can still pay larger fees to send around larger amounts of money. Right now, fees are low, though. So it is funny for anyone that wants to go ahead and, oh, fees are too high, Segwit, or whatever. So I don't think that's happening. But
Well,
no,
something else is that when we talk about privacy in Bitcoin, we're talking about privacy as a secondary kind of item. You know, like the problem with Bitcoin is not privacy. The problem is fungibility. The problem is when you have through legal categorization and surveillance infrastructure, you have some Bitcoins that are priced at plus 20% and other Bitcoins that are priced at minus 20% because some have moved through illegal items and other ones have been through legal markets, and so you have a market spread, a price spread between Bitcoins, and that's not good for currency. That's bad for currency.
Okay, I have a question about that because I've heard about this, but I've never experienced it. My Bitcoin's
Sure.
all Bitcoin. Tell me
Well,
how this
I think
works.
it's starting to. If you try to buy local Bitcoins, like Bitcoins from local Bitcoins market, there's like a 7-point markup in Colombia, for example, and most countries have like a markup of buying Bitcoin cash.
Right, but that's
In part
because
because it might just be liquidity, it might be risk. Yeah. The problem is if that widens it, the theory is that it breaks the fungibility of it, and then it's not really a unit of account anymore. It's not really a currency anymore.
No, because that's why you need to go back and look at that gold standard, because gold gold never circulated as cash except in a few isolated cases when it was plentiful. It circulated in cash during the California gold rush because a pound of coffee, cost you a couple $1,000s in gold because you couldn't get Levi's, you couldn't get a pick and shovel. But your gold was worth a lot, but you had to take it back across the isthmus, which there were no boats going that way. So this is.
So I think here's where the metaphor of Bitcoin as gold starts to break down, because in that example, right, like after that gold era, right, that gold mine rush, people started to deposit their gold in banks and get cash receipts, right? And that's how fiat cash sort of began. But it wasn't fiat at the time. It was just gold-backed paper notes or something like that, right?
Yeah, they would.
And those are the exact people who are going to print you your paper-backed Bitcoin. They're already talking about it at Coinbase. Coinbase has
so with Lightning,
Bitcoin. Therefore, they should be able to print those.
But Coinbase, that's our problem right now, is that Coinbase is acting as a bank, but they're really not a bank. They're an exchange. And when I'm talking about banking, I'm talking about in financial terms, it's called self-liquidating commercial paper. And that paper you don't loan, money is not created out of nothing. If it's ex nihilo, I agree with you, Thomas, but you need to make that distinction. If that money creation represents new goods coming into the marketplace, that's not created out of nothing.
What do you
That-
mean new goods created out of the market?
Well, like a widget, well, you take a car, whatever it is that's new, you've got your phone hodls. And I say, you know what? I'm going to make you a loan on the phone hodlers, but I have a lien on your inventory. I have a lien on your inventory. Now you have more, but if it's something different, let's say more bread going to the market, what would happen is the way it works is that the money is created out of nothing, but there's a lien. Let's say it's an automobile or a steel manufacturer. It's an automobile, then the automobile manufacturer is getting paid in money, quote, created. It's not created ex nihilo because the collateral are those cars that was collateralized by those cars coming to the market. They can pay their employees. They can pay their suppliers. They can pay. Now they get these notes that've been created out from with this new collateral. As they buy other things, they may want to buy your car, but they might want to buy other things. Those notes are retired. So it's you can create purchasing media that's non-inflationary. And that's how you regulate the money supply.
Slightly
That's why I've
better.
never been a monetarist.
Slightly
But
better
no,
because it's on a limited contract.
Economic
At least
theory
there's a
on
limit.
something. So there's an economic theory that there's an article that you keep referencing. What's the name of the article? We get it out there. It's a theory of private banking that's really important.
it's
Hal
not-
Finney, I think, talked about it and stuff. So
It's not a theory. It's a description.
it's a description of
It's a
private banking.
description of the
So-
E.C. Harwood wrote of how banking evolved under the gold standard.
Okay. Is
And
that
it was
how-
truly an innovation like Bitcoin. And we need to understand that because that's where
Yeah, it's
the
awesome.
hope for Bitcoin is we need to we can't just throw away. I'm very much not a anarcho-capitalist. I'm not a fan of Murray Rothbard because he wrote an article way back when he called, the case for 100% gold dollar, which I called him at the time a gold socialist. And you know when I wrote that article, Milton Friedman wrote me. He said, "Wow, I saw your article. I wanted to." And he sent me an article he'd written about. And I'm not a monetarist. But Milton Friedman believed that you should have. His idea was, okay, we need to inflate the money at a fixed rate that everybody knows about every year. You need to increase it 5%. Well, no, you don't. The marketplace can regulate that by what the market is doing. So the marketplace supply money goes up or down depending upon how productive we are. If we're not productive, then that's what socialism does. We're not productive, but we're going to create money anyway. And it's a very anti-socialist, it's a pure capitalistic money. It's a pure free market money.
I mean,
And Hayek says, hey, not just free market money, but free market banking. And for Bitcoin to take hold, free market banking has to go hand in hand.
I
with
agree that
Bitcoin.
banking is something in Bitcoin that's still almost not even existing right now. And loans are very important for capital. You need capital for capitalism, as Max Kaiser said before. So it's a really interesting topic. Ugly, you got to find that article and share it on Twitter because I really want to read it and I couldn't find it just now.
Almost on
All
my
right,
meeting.
let's
Yeah.
go
Okay.
to-
We got to post that on Twitter. I'll share it and I'll read it and we can talk about it some other time. We got a lot of comments going on right now. We even have Craig Wright, apparently, or at least his smug ass face under Max X.
All right, let's keep the chat involved. Bitcoin Motorist also thought that the flyer was kind of Bush League. He wasn't impressed with
Yeah, that was a
Tracy's
pretty-
photoshopping skill there.
flyer, the Mimble Wimble flyer.
Yeah.
Rich warns maybe the DOJ was going after coin joins. So Trace prefers something like Mimble Wimble where the coin joins or whatever
think he
built
did. He
into their
looked-
system. They're
Yeah, I think
automatic.
he's rattled by it. I mean, the DOJ just subpoenaed or at least arrested the CEO of some web. I don't know what he was doing, but the guy was running a coin join thing. But the arrest, as far as I know, was not related to the coin join. The mixer itself that the guy was running was related to something else that he was doing. So that was just kind of mentioned, and there's a bunch of fun around that. I think if the DOJ straight up attacked coin joins, then yeah, that could be a problem. But at the end of the day, this fungibility concern, I think it's not obvious to me that it isn't real, but it's also not obvious to me how that plays out. Like I actually interviewed an economist like years ago, and I wrote an article about fungibility on Bitcoin Magazine, and there is history of fungibility breaking down, but it's, you know, it's not as there's not as much data. I haven't seen that much quality data, so I think this is a topic that we need to keep exploring and researching and talking about and developing. And the soft fork that's coming up is actually very important for this.
I gotta, this guy says what, I've read Mastering Bitcoin. I'm not, how do I? pull that down?
Yeah, just
There,
scroll
okay.
down a little bit.
Okay.
That's a no problem.
Yes. Oh, Rocky, I am interested. Please.
All right, let's have Rocky on the show next time.
Yeah, Rocky, I am very open to learning it,
I
but
think we need to spend an hour.
you know, and hey, you get through to me, and you know, I'll be it's most, you know, vocal advocate. But again, what I really want, and I think I get how it works. My question that I haven't, that nobody's persuaded me about is it really necessary?
Mm-hmm.
It seems like it's kind of a Bitcoin on top of Bitcoin.
It's necessary depending on what your purpose is.
I see that, and that's why I say I see it as perhaps what it is that Bitcoin shaving is the Bitcoin coinage, and so in that sense, yes, but that's not going to take Bitcoin and make it into a standard.
I think
it's not.
I think everything has to be utilitarian standard.
Well, think about this.
If you wanted to put Bitcoin into an arcade machine, you'd use Lightning. If you wanted to get Bitcoin as a quarter, if you wanted to say, I have a $20 bill, that's great, but I want to play a video game that only costs a quarter. $20 bill needs to become the quarter.
Really reasonable way.
I agree with that.
If we get to a point where transaction fees are $10
why
a piece,
would you
right?
want? I don't want to play video games with a quarter.
Well, but if you want it to be at a standard,
you want a soda.
Worldwide,
but you guys you're not distinguishing the standard and the gold. But there's a difference between gold and the gold standard, just as there's a difference between Bitcoin and the Bitcoin standard.
Right.
That's what I'm trying to focus on. You guys need to get it that if it's a standard, you
okay,
don't
so
need to have 100% back to have a Bitcoin standard.
Okay, but you're not a Bitcoin standard if you're not the unit of account. Correct. So you have to be a unit of account in order to be a Bitcoin
exactly
standard.
right.
So that's what it's saying. If you want to pay with Bitcoin at a 25-cent,
but that's still 100. But you're missing.
It is 100% back.
Right, and you're missing. You can't. It's not going to evolve without banking. It's really not. All it is a mini improvement that's not going to take
reserve Bitcoin, people, ladies and gentlemen.
It's not going to.
I don't like it.
Huh?
I don't like fractional reserve Bitcoin.
No, it's not.
I really don't like it.
What do you mean fractional? The exchanges are fractional reserve.
Are they?
Well, we don't know,
be,
but
right?
they shouldn't be. But
I mean, that's going to be a big scandal if that happens.
But a bank that's issuing credits that index to the Bitcoin standard with real goods and new. In other words, you don't make a loan to somebody that's saving. No, you can only loan what they're saved out to somebody that if somebody's delaying and say, I want to buy a car now and I've got this Bitcoin, okay, you can borrow my Bitcoin, you can buy the car, but you have to pay me. That's a savings and loan transaction. We used to make that distinction. Banking there is such a thing. And it's not fractional reserve because you're only loaning to the new goods coming in. If you're a producer, then the bank service you because you're producing something.
I think the bottom line.
The loans, the money creation only goes to production. It doesn't go to finance some social welfare program or to finance food stamps or finance a war. It goes only because you're adding something into the marketplace. Now they can make a mistake and loan you too much, like.
And do they go bankrupt? There's nobody to bail them out in a Bitcoin economy. That's the good news.
Right.
So
exactly.
That could maybe work. It could be stable enough.
And exactly. There was none
I don't really know enough about banking.
Nobody bailed you out in a gold standard either.
Right.
Those are two things they had in common.
So
it's a tough concept, but you need to start thinking the difference. What is the difference between Bitcoin and the Bitcoin standard? And when you start thinking about that,
well, I think we're going to see fractional reserve exchanges, like saying like, hey, no, we've been here for years.
But
and then that's going to be a big
commercial
story.
Banking is not fractional reserve.
What do you think, Thomas? Thomas disapproves. I don't like this fractional reserve.
But I think
I don't either.
I think a lending market for
I
entrepreneurs
don't
would
like
be good. I
fractional
mean,
reserve, but
you know?
you're putting sound banking in the same category as fractional
Yeah,
reserve. It's two
yeah, yeah.
different
I
things.
think that the new system is not necessarily going to conform to the rules of the old system. So it's
Oh,
great to say how
the old
banking used
system
to
is
work and how assets used to work and all these things. I think that with this new system, we have a chance to truly change how all those systems work. So I do think it's going to change things like loans and collateral, and we might have a more digital system with more like smart contracts locking up the Bitcoin. The Bitcoin's really there, and then not lending out on the Bitcoin. If they lend out on the Bitcoin, it has to be locked up, like in an exchange, where they let you lend it, but they don't really let you out.
If you do that, Bitcoin will never become the standard. It will always just remain kind of an oddity, like gold is now.
Well, if you do
I
what?
think that the internet is the ultimate oddity. Like David Bowie said, it's a space alien. We don't know what it's for. We don't know what it does. It's evolving. It's changing. I don't think we've seen the end of what a currency or what a unit of
Hard money.
exchange or account could be.
I think the reality is we can't really stop bank-like institutions from doing fractional reserve because it's entirely legal. And I mean, this is so. Here's an interesting
But
theory. Hang on.
it's not you're missing the market. The market will actually regulate that because
Well-
if there's confidence is lost, then basically those notes are demanded, very quickly because all the banks were watching each other.
See, the thing here is like we're fighting up against a 30 years of a narrative by gold bugs saying that the reason that gold didn't go parabolic is because fractional paper gold was being dumped into the
Well, I
market
don't excuse that.
illegally, and there's this
and
whole
those are-
discussion
those
about
are-
the spot
those are-
market
that's
like
not
beating
true.
the paper market.
Look,
right?
I've never taught that. Tone Bays has never taught that.
But I was, and most
I
people
know,
in
and
there,
absolutely right.
most crypto people were,
That comes
right?
from Murray Rothbard. You guys are
Right.
so influenced.
But
Murray
how can it not
Rothbard
be
is
true,
a-
right? I mean,
is a
it
cur-
makes logical sense.
Murray
If you
Rothbard is a
get to-
curse to sound money. I'm sorry, guys, and that sounds like heresy.
This is
I know on World Crypto Network, you guys are actually read from
Well, it's
Murray
good for
Rothbard.
ratings. We got 40 people watching live. So
It's not Murray Rothbard is, just was putting out all kinds of crap, and this whole idea of this anarcho crypto or anarcho capitalism came from Murray Rothbard. I'm sorry, guys. I do believe in governments. I'm not an anarchist. I believe in limited government. I think the government only has one function, and that is to protect its citizens from evildoers. And that means evildoers within the nation and also evildoers from without. So defense, and to enforce the law, which I think is very simple. I don't think, beyond the 10 commandments doesn't need enforcement.
Yeah.
And God only demands 10%. No government should have close to
even the 10
10%.
commandments, but I mean, how much enforcement you want there? But I mean, I'm not gonna disagree with that. I think a lot of that is interesting. It's a whole other discussion. I think the fractional reserve banking stuff, I think that narrative needs to be challenged head on because we are facing it in Bitcoin now. We inherited this gold narrative, and this gold thesis, as Mayer said in one of the old sort of videos on MSNBC, that Bitcoin fits into the gold thesis. But now we're also dealing with the bullshit that gold bugs might have pushed to defend themselves, right? And whether this is true or not is important. And I think private banking is going to be really interesting too. Funny enough, there's two things here that are really interesting. So funny enough, Trace Mayer, as far as I can tell, but I don't really have any source to this, so it's conjecture, is involved with this Wyoming bank that just launched that's going to be a full reserve bank out of Wyoming. Interesting.
Hooray for banks.
What's that?
Hooray for banks.
Yeah, the Bitcoin banks are coming. Crypto banks are coming. And the second thing is that he had this theory about how to deal with fractional reserve exchanges. And the theory was, if you want to test whether or not an exchange has the Bitcoin that it claims to have, you airdrop a shitcoin onto Bitcoin holders. And then if Bitcoin holders want it, they'll demand it from the exchange, and the exchange will have to produce it. And if they don't have the Bitcoin
reserves, then they'll have to pay it on balance, and that could make them go bankrupt, right?
I
And so
agree
that's a
with that.
pressure. That's a positive pressure.
And I agree with it.
Maybe that's the game he's playing, because he
Oh,
hasn't even
yeah.
responded to any of this controversy. So
No, I
It's
agree.
it's all a feint. It's all a plan. Trace has been
it's all
fooling
planned,
you
man.
all
And
along.
he would.
I definitely
I feel like
agree.
he's the kind of guy that would do that.
Going back to what we were talking about earlier, I think that with Bitcoin, a lot of different groups try to adopt it as theirs. The anarcho-capitalists, they see part of themselves in it, and they try to adopt the whole thing. The libertarians, they see part of themselves in it. They try to adopt the whole thing. But once again, Bitcoin doesn't fit in any of these categories. It can't be simply defined. It's an alien. It's entirely new. And I want to bring the chat into this. I agree with what scroll up to what the guy said. I agree with Joint Specialist. He says the internet is the communication system of a type 1 civilization, and Bitcoin is the currency of a type 1 civilization. If we want to be inducted into the Federation and be able to talk to the Vulcans, the warp drive is Bitcoin. The internet was the first step. I think Bitcoin is the second step. But what do you guys think? Go ahead.
Sure. Sounds great.
Well, my understanding,
Yeah.
and correct me if I'm wrong, the internet makes Bitcoin convenient, but the internet's not necessary for Bitcoin. And I might be mistaken on that, but it basically the idea of the satellite
I mean,
technology, you're not even online. You're communicating through satellite or
Bitcoin
through some other means.
without the internet, but it's still kind of necessary. It's still kind of part of it. All of the development is done through the internet. All of the discussion about the development is done through the internet. Like the internet's this extension of what everyone does now. So if the internet goes down, like if they break the encryption, everyone's all like, if they break the encryption, Bitcoin's doomed. If they break the encryption, online banking is doomed. If they break the encryption, online gambling and pornography and all of the much larger industries than Bitcoin are instantly doomed. And for the banking and the stock markets and all of that, all of your trades, all of your logins, all are in clear, plain text. If they have that quantum machine or if they have that secret backdoor in the encryption, that's why, good security for all is good security for all.
Yeah, that's going to be a big hard fork for everybody to
Well, you guys have been living with a lot of great challenges. So the little bit I know, I'm trying to pass on to you. So I do think if you have not read E.C. Harwood, and you can just Google it. It's called it's the Lost Art of Commercial Banking, and there's a free PDF files, and other people have reprinted it. But it is a classic description of how banking evolved to the most sophisticated level it had ever been. And then, of course, in 1913, the government basically adopted. They said, okay, you can't do this anymore on your own. We're going to be the central bank and control it. Now, the beauty of Bitcoin is they can't do that. That's why I have kind of a radical view. People were you're talking about the charter banks, and I was on Adam Meister's program, and my belief is the problem with the Wyoming banking project is it's a chartered bank. And to me, the real innovation is going to come off of out there is not going to be chartered with any state. It's going to evolve in the marketplace and become stateless. And I think that for that reason, I think Bitcoin has a very good chance because it competes so much with nation states' money that nation states are going to be forced to reintroduce sound money, and the best way they can do it is through reintroduce the gold standard. What a wonderful world that will be, is to have Bitcoin, one sound money, competing with another sound money. And I think that's what F.A. Hayek was talking about. So in his denationalization of money. And so I see that's a big positive force, bringing back sound money, because gold is physical, so it can be sound money within certain borders. But the commercial banking I'm talking about is not going to have any borders, and the wealth look, they can take ugly old goat and they can throw me in jail. But they can't take my wealth. You know, maybe they could torture it out of me, but if I have it set up in such a way, I can't even let them know that. I say, you can torture me, but I don't know where it is, which can be done now. Then essentially the wealth, even though I cannot escape tyranny, my wealth can. And there's been a lot of times when, you know, it's been very difficult, like in Nazi Germany, they got some of that out. But in Russia, a lot of these countries, China right now, it's difficult getting your wealth out. Bitcoin's resolving a lot of that. And I think that's where the innovation is going to come, not through some chartered bank in Wyoming.
Warren Buffett says Bitcoin replaces suitcases with money. Yeah. Makes it way cheaper, I guess.
Is that what he is?
That's what he said, yeah.
Wow, he's starting to become a big.
He's starting to get it. He's starting to get it.
I think he is.
It's one step forward there.
They're saying in the chat, Max says that Iran should adopt Bitcoin as their national
That'd be
currency.
crazy.
That would be a very exciting story. Interesting to see,
Very
especially a country like Iran that is so much in the news for so many other things.
Oh, there it is. Well, oh, you put it on there. You got the AR. You got it. Okay.
Yeah,
Cab says that Bitcoin is a breakaway civilization,
Mm,
and
yeah, I kind of agree with that.
checking it out. Rich
I think
says,
it's so
would you
society
recommend
to-
reading Atlas
I don't
Shrugged?
think you should, you know.
I'm not sure I'd recommend that anymore. It's not so good.
Ugly, would you recommend Atlas Shrugged? Yeah, I don't know if I recommend. I mean, it's worth reading, but I disagree with a bunch of stuff in it.
Yeah, it's basically, it's
I
kind
really
of like
like
a
it.
thought virus that attaches to certain kind of individualistic people and
Yeah.
tries to convince them that they can do it all alone, which
Yeah,
is
it's
a
true.
great idea. And like, I think it's an admirable idea, but then it doesn't work in the real world where you need to work with other people and be humble. And, you know, that Dunning-Kruger effect. Smart people know that there's someone smarter than them, whereas dumb people think they're the smartest person in the room. So you don't want to be that dumb guy. And I think if you read Atlas Shrugged, you might lean towards.
Well, you know what? I know what I know, but I also know I don't know so much. I'm confident in those things that I know, but I know enough that I keep real quiet about things I don't know. And you guys, when it comes to Lightning Network, I've been real quiet about it. I don't. I'm not.
Well, I think we're going to convince you. I think we've got a lot of people.
I think you can do it. I'm here. I'm here listening. It's just you got to get through a real simple mind. You know,
We're gonna spend a day on it, like an hour on it, just to show one show on it, and I think.
I do think we're heading towards the end of this show. Do you guys want to just remind everyone where you're from, or do you guys want to keep going with this? Because we're about an hour and a half.
I'm getting ready to go. I'm tired. We could do a few more comments and
You
stuff.
want to go out to eat for Pampas?
We could- we
want to
could,
go to
yeah,
Pampas
sure.
tonight? We have a really great
Crashing for the 6 beers.
Argentine meat place.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Now you're convincing me. I think it's pretty much time to end this show. So why don't you guys tell the guy one more time, where can they reach you guys on Twitter? Juan Galt, where can people check out your work?
Excuse me. Yeah, Juan is Galt on Twitter. Juan is Galt on Twitter. And if you go to juangalt.com, you can see my website. My website's all fucked up right now, but it works more or less. So anyway, I'm on Twitter.
All right, Ugly Old Goat, where can people check you out?
Ugly Old Goat 1, the number 1, or uglyoldgoat.com. But or Medium. I'm Ugly Old Goat on Medium. And I'm kind of weird because I'm the only one I know of that kind of made his bones in I became, what do you call it? When you become kind of Bitcoin famous, and I'm not, it was done through Medium articles. I'm the only one that I know of that's done it that way. Everybody else has done YouTube or something else. That's why I'm not very good at this production stuff. That's what we
legendary. The long form articles, everyone else writing the tweets and the text messages, but you're getting the long form articles in there. Very nice, man.
Yeah, good stuff.
All right. Well, thanks for everybody tuning in. If you like what we're doing, I think we got Thomas. I think Thomas wants to pick up the ball and do this every week. I think it'd be great, Thomas, if you did it. So,
we've got a donation code right here. If you guys want to support the show, send us a donation, 10, 20 bucks, Bitcoin and Lightning. Check out Tallycoin. You can create your own fundraiser at tallyco.in. All you need is a Bitcoin address. No one can take anything from your fundraiser.
So Tallycoin isn't even a coin then, is that
No,
right?
no,
Yeah,
it's
not even a coin, not even an altcoin. Doesn't
Wow,
take
that's
anything
really-
from your wallet.
Damn.
Just makes
But that
this
makes
nice
it
looking
confusing.
webpage
Yeah,
to
it's not
help
the
you
best name. We
fundraise.
love you guys. It's not the best
Very
name.
cool idea.
Not branded.
We were showing everyone Bitcoin Saturday night. We showed you guys the episode we did. We talked about it. If you want to rewind, you can check that out. And
I
check
didn't know
out.
I didn't know you were doing a cab campaign. Is that in New York or Las Vegas or
Oh,
the
yeah.
whole world?
That was a Las Vegas cab right there.
Wow.
But,
that's
patterned
amazing.
after the original Saturday Night Live, NBC's Saturday Night from 1975. But yeah, thanks to everybody for watching the show, checking us out. We hope to be back again next week. Be sure to subscribe down below. Give us a thumbs up because that's free. Talk about us on Twitter. Give us a comment. Stuff like this is a great way to support the show, even if you don't want to send in $5 in Bitcoin or whatever.
All right, we'll talk about this gold paperback thing some other time. Fascinating topics. We touched
Yeah,
on a lot
and
of
I'm
important
open for
topics today.
guys. Don't give up on me on Lightning. I'm listening. I got full plate. You know, I'm an old guy and I got a full plate. So you got to make it real short and real simple. I believe in KISS. Keep it short and simple.
I
And
think
if
we're going to
you do
figure it
that-
out. We're going to get you on board with Lightning. And hopefully anyone else is critical in the audience will get you guys on board too. Send us your questions, your comments. We're always good to try to talk to you and try to explain it. If we can't explain it, we'll get somebody else to
We're
explain
ready for BTC players, says Cap.
But
All right. Good night,
thanks
everybody.
so much. Until next time, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.